Good Monday morning, everyone, and thank you for being here today. If you want to follow along in your Bible, we will be back in Proverbs in the 17th chapter, starting in the 10th verse. And as we look at this section, we are again faced with Solomon's concerns that we guard ourselves against the unwise, that we guard ourselves against evil and wicked behavior. And there's really, if you look at the whole book of Proverbs, really it boils down to there's two different stories. There's two different avenues. The wise man, the one that follows the path of God, and the foolish man, the wicked man, the one that ignores the things of God. And you and I, what Solomon is really repeatedly teaching is that throughout our life we have that option. We almost in our lifetime we pretty well are constantly standing at a fork in the road. And just repeatedly throughout the day, we are faced with an option to go down the road of wisdom or down the road of wickedness, and we just keep coming to that fork over and over again in the decisions that we make. And so as Solomon begins with somewhat that background, verse 10, he says, "A reproof entereth more into a wise man than 100 stripes into a fool." Um, that's a pretty blatant picture. He says, a wise man, you can just speak to him, you can correct him, and he will follow your course. But you can't beat sense, he says, into a foolish man. I mean, that's there's no way to put that. But that he says, 100 stripes, you can beat them, and they'll go right back to their wickedness. And perhaps a poor example would be the high number of repeat criminals that we have in our society. That they are punished, they are put on probation or sent to prison, and they repeat over and over. And so a wise man, he says, you can talk to him, but a foolish man, he says, you can't even beat sense into them. 100 stripes will not correct them. An evil man seeketh only rebellion, therefore a cruel messenger shall be sent against him. A warning here for us against evil men. Um, Sadly, a lot of good people, a lot of wise people, have been destroyed by not by their own actions, but by the evil people, the wicked people who are around them. And an evil man is going to rebel, going to be punished for his actions. An evil man seeketh only rebellion, therefore a cruel messenger shall be sent against him. Let a bear robbed of her whelps meet a man rather than a fool in his folly. Better to meet. I like the way Solomon's got some really good images that he picks out here. He said you're better off to tangle with a bear that has had her babies taken from her than to get tangled up with a foolish man and the way he acts. What a picture for us of the danger of wickedness and foolishness and who we associate with. Whoso rewardeth evil for good, evil shall not depart from his house. Again, he just continues to paint some pictures here that, again, don't always, how do I want to say that? Um, be grateful. If somebody does something good for you, you don't repay them with evil. You are grateful for those around you who do you good. The beginning of strife is as when one letteth out water. Therefore, leave off contention before it be meddled with. Um, Starting an argument, getting into an argument, the beginning of strife here. He said it's like opening up the dam. It's like just turning the floodwaters loose. He said it's better to leave off contention. Just let it alone. It's just not worth the fight. I'm reminded, as probably many of you have heard that saying about wrestling with a pig. It says the problem is, you know, both of you get muddy, but only one of you enjoys it. And that's, I think, kind of the message Solomon's got here, that it's just not worth it to get into those kinds of things, kind of disagreements and arguments with other people. He that justifieth the wicked and he that condemneth the just, even they both are an abomination to the Lord. He's encouraging us here that we act correctly, justly, that we don't defend the sinner, we don't defend the guilty, that we stand for justice, just as God is just. We don't turn the guilty loose or convict the innocent man for something he didn't do. In other words, we treat people fairly and correctly. Wherefore is there a price in the hand of a fool to get wisdom, seeing he hath no heart to it? He said, again, it's almost comical, some of the things that Solomon says here. He says that you're just wasting your money to try to educate a foolish man. And again, we're not talking about someone who is, when he uses the word foolish or fool, he's not talking about, as many people think, someone who is mentally challenged, someone who is, and that kind. He's talking about, again, the fool here he's talking about is a wicked man. And he said there's no use in trying, you can't spend enough money to get a wicked man to not be wicked. He just, he's going to follow that path. And one of the overriding principles here as he talks about these things is, if that's the way a foolish man goes, if that's the way an unwise man goes, then we need to be very careful with our associations and our dealings with them. And then the other side of that would be we need to be very careful and aware of our own actions, that we are not doing things, living in such a way that could be labeled as foolish or ungodly. Some real serious things to think about as we consider our own actions, the actions of others, and the relationship between those. That we think about what it looks like to be a foolish man, and avoid that at all cost. All right, you have a good day, and we will see you back here tomorrow morning.